Alright, thank you very much. Hello everybody, it's your good friend Pozzible here, and I'm back in action, doing what I like to do best, remembering one of the forgotten classics of our day and age. You know, the one reason these movies are forgotten is because back in the day, they were so normal. You know, they were just another face in the crowd type of movie. But over the years I should say, they have aged well. And the reason why they have aged is because they now reflect what it was like in that bygone era. And this bygone era is one of my favorite bygone eras, the 80s. And what better movie to talk about than Black Moon Rising? You know, another reason why I wanted to bring up this movie is because I saw in the trailer for Fast and Furious 7, they did a trick in that movie that they originally did in this movie. And that is jump a car between two skyscrapers. This one with Tommy Lee Jones in it, the other one's going to have Jason Statham in it. But the real point I'm trying to make here with Black Moon Rising is that it's one of those classic 80s adventure movies. You've got Tommy Lee Jones as Sam Quinn. He's an expert thief who now has been blackmailed by the FBI to do a job for them. And so, using 80s style gadgets, which are a hoot, let me tell you, he's able to break into their office, steal the thing, but not before being recognized by a few people. And he takes the microchip or whatever piece of technology he has, and the microfilm. Remember, this was the 80s, so they still had microfilm back in those days. It's a hoot, let me tell you. But he takes it and he hides it in this car so that if somebody finds him, they can't take him from him. And they do find him, though, and he's always able to escape somehow. So you've got this cat and mouse game going on with him trying to retrieve his microfilm and the bad guys trying to get it back from him. That said, somebody else steals the car. And who was it? That's right, it was Linda Hamilton with the 80s hair. If there's anything I really miss sometimes, I never thought I'd ever say this, but it's the 80s hair. She is part of a group of car thieves that steal the supercar. Remember, this is not just an ordinary car. This is supposed to be a supercar. This was the car of tomorrow. And this is one thing I loved about the 80s. One thing we really don't have nowadays is that when it comes to our view of technology, back then in the 80s, technology was really coming into its own. It was in its infancy. So we looked at technology with all the possibilities that we don't seem to have nowadays. We see technology sometimes as getting in the way, maybe a friend, maybe a benefit, maybe a bad guy. We can't make up our minds. But in this day and age, we were going to do everything with technology, including making supercars like this that were going to free us from the oil barons and make the world a better place and stuff like that. So it's up to Sam Quinn to get this car back, not to get the car back, but to get the microfilm from the car, but he's going to steal the car back with the help of the makers and have to do it in, of course, a very flamboyant style because it was, after all, the 80s. That is Black Moon Rising for you. It is a standard action adventure. It works only because of Tommy Lee Jones's charm and ability to really hold his own in movies like this. The other thing that makes this movie impressive is that, nowadays, in our modern age, Tommy Lee Jones has taken on the role of the mentor, the wise old man, stuff like that, not really doing as much as the action. But this was different back then. 30 years ago, he was the action hero. He was the romantic lead, and seeing that today, it's very different than what it would have been like 30 years ago, because 30 years ago, all movies were like this. That's why Black Moon Rising is a see it. For a forgotten classic, this is one of those movies you really should watch and enjoy. Alright guys, that's it for me today. We'll see you at the theaters.